my dad had said from about 4 to 7 for everybody to be over at the house. I was like, okay. Well, everybody started talking and hanging out, and next thing you know, it's like, it's like 8:45.
Oh, you have one of those families too.
Yeah, you know how it goes. Hey, your collar's flipped up, by the way.
My collar's flipped up. I'm doing the Elvis thing tonight.
I know. Oh, I missed out. I'm wearing a Service Now shirt.
I see that. All right, let's do a share on the broadcast, see what happens there. Hopefully we'll have a little more stability with Facebook this week.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Sorry if anyone was taken aback by that last week. Oops. Instead of a hash, I had $1. It's time to do $567.
All right. So, we already started?
Yes, we are on Facebook and we are recording. So this is the pre-show chatter. That's interesting. One of the guys at the podcast meetup said that he releases this as his Patreon show. It's like his pre-show stuff. Like, well, that's easy.
Well, we kind of do that too, but we do it from the on the back end.
Yeah. I'll boost my headphones just a little bit there.
So I'm curious to see what your to-do list looks like.
3 or 4 things. Just, add this, take that off, tweak that. Do you know what our LUFS levels are set to?
Who? Our fluff levels?
LUFS. It's a measurement of loudness. It's not the volume. It's not like, go look it up, LUFS. It was an interesting discussion. Because there's a standard for broadcasting, and then there's a standard. It's like the dB level, and then there's a standard for podcasting.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really know the name.
I don't know
but
if it's an
alphonic.
If it's an alphonic setting or something. I don't know.
All right.
Something to look at. It's just one of those. We can go over this stuff in later between shows. I don't know. All right. June 26th. What happened to June? What happened to May?
I know. What happened to January?
What happened to 2018? What happened to 1979? Todd's out there going, meow. All right. Level. Hello. You gave him some food?
Stale food.
Give him some stale food. He's out there complaining. What the heck is going on here? Give me stale food. Your picture looks nice and crisp and clear tonight.
You me?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's better than mine.
That really didn't do anything special.
Okay.
Maybe. Oh, it's my makeup.
Yeah. Makeup department let me down today. I got a green tint.
Green tint.
That's fine.
Mute.
No, Brian.
I was gonna say, where's Brian at? You're still living in your house?
Next door. Yes. For a couple more months.
Really? Man.
Yeah. He's going to make it to the 1 year mark.
Hey, by that time, that'd be considered common law marriage, right?
Not to me. We don't live in the same place. I think the U.S. Postal Service is going to have to update his address.
Yeah.
We'll get his mail from all eternity now.
Yeah.
Well, if we get another
So are they actually working on his house? What's the deal?
Yeah, they're working on it.
Wow. It must have really been messed up bad.
I don't know. Well, it was the insurance company. It's one of those things where they get a call and it says, oh, your adjuster left the company yesterday, after they don't hear from him for like a month and a half. So now they got to spin up a new guy.
Yeah. Oh, what's going on here?
Yeah. Give me a few weeks to get up to speed. Yeah, they're not happy with the insurance company. All right. Shall we begin?
Sure.
Okay. Let's just checking audio levels one last time. Here we go. Oh, thanks, everybody, for joining.
Show notes.
Tim Elliott's there. John Clifford's there. Craig is there. We had a few. We'll have to work on our marketing. Yes, you have show notes. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3. Technorama episode 567, Spatial Anomaly. I gotta wonder if anybody ever listens to this at double speed.
Yeah.
There's some things that I say that I can't even understand at single speed. Welcome to Technorama. This is the show that takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek. If this is your first time joining us, thank you very much. We appreciate you joining us, and you're in for a real treat. I don't know where you've been for the last 14 and a half years, but hey, this is Technorama. Why not? Yeah. Joining me, I'm Chuck Tomasi in sunny Phoenix, Arizona, and joining me as always is Craig Stepp. How are you, Craig?
I'm doing quite well.
How's your weekend?
Actually, it's been pretty good. We just got home from a family thing.
Awesome.
So yeah, it was one of those nights where I thought we would be leaving a couple hours earlier, but everybody was having such a good time talking. Next thing you know, it was like, wow, we've been here for quite a while, and it was one of those good nights.
And then you have to do the 30-minute goodbye. Okay, we should get going. Oh, and there's one more thing. Okay, and then we should get going. Oh, well, there's one more thing.
Oh yeah, there's always one more thing, and that's fine. I love that kind of stuff. So
good.
Yeah.
All righty. Where to begin? Well, according to the show notes, we begin with the feedback. So let's do the feedback music.
All right. Letters. Oh, we got letters.
Every day.
Latency. Oh, we got latency.
Oh no, a stupid bill.
Reach right in and pull one out. Those letters. I love those letters. Let's find out what you got to say.
Oh boy.
Mailman. Mail today.
Hey.
All right, our question of the week from last week, episode 566, was if you could acquire a skill, Matrix style, just plug in and download it into your brain, what would you want to learn? And quite a few people took my answer, so I'll just indicate where that fits into things. So we got a lot of things. Eric Zoni from work says, I'm torn between dodging bullets and punching someone through a brick wall. And if you know Eric Zoni... He's got Krav Maga or Muay Thai. He's got some serious martial arts skills going. So yeah, I can understand that one. That would work out really well in his Muay Thai. Crazy Joe Fiore says how to play the accordion. And
so you can tour with that Weird Al.
Carrie Lindros says you can't already, and Joe says not yet. But well, hooray! Oh, hurry up and get that Weird Al costume going.
Yeah,
Crazy Joe dressed up as Weird Al.
You know what? I would love to see that at Dragon Con. That would be awesome. A Hawaiian shirt and a
big accordion.
Yeah, some curly locks. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Have fun getting that on the plane. Sean Brockman took my idea. He says all the major languages of the world. I just go straight out and say all the languages of the world. Thomas Reed says that's my first thought. To which Sean says it would help solving most problems. And Amy Bowen says, yeah, that's pretty much the same idea. So I have a block of learning languages. It would be a much better teacher if I could speak other languages.
I like his enthusiasm or his bright outlook there, but
hey,
I don't know if that would
understanding.
It would help, but I don't know.
It would help. And many problems from language interference. Doug K, whom we haven't heard from in forever.
I know. Actually, I saw his name in there, and I went, "Whoa!"
He must have liked the question of the week because we haven't heard from him in a long time. Long-time fellow podcaster. He's the one who originally came out the Levelator that many podcasters use.
Actually, I think about him often whenever I think about that tool.
Absolutely. Yep. So Doug K says Spanish. I'm horrible at languages. And Diana Lewis, friend of ours, says playing the piano. Curtly S. Dason. I guess the bullet dodging could be handy. Because that comes up all the time, apparently. John Miller Jr. says, to speak and understand any language that ever existed and that currently exists. This includes DNA sequences, computer code, and synaptic languages of the brain. Just to really freak you out, this also includes how, let's go for animal, plant, and insect life, how they communicate too. Was that too much?
I think he's overreaching there.
Mike Wills went right out of the movie, went, Kung Fu. Whoa.
Whoa.
Mark Blackburn says, I want to eat white goo and pretend it's steak.
Work that out.
Amy Murphy, who I believe will be joining us at Dragon Con. Yes?
I think so.
All right. How to ride a motorcycle and learn Japanese. Or
At the same time?
And ride a Japanese motorcycle. I want to learn how to ride a Kawasaki and pronounce it properly.
Right.
Mike Stockman says, code by thought. Yeah, just think what the solution should be and it should code itself, right?
I kind of do that. It's just that
Yeah.
I have the pesky problem having to put those out through my fingers after I figure out the problem or situation.
Teresa Van Ryn just says, math.
Math is hard.
And Edward Earl Newton. I don't know if anybody remember Earl Newton. He was involved with the Podcasting for Dummies second edition, parts of the video stuff. He had some video contributions to the companion podcast. That's how I know him. Very cool videographer, producer, director guy. He says, if I'm being practical, Spanish or maybe physical fitness. So go back to the Kung Fu thing. Those are our answers. Thank you very much for everybody who gave us feedback on that. We look forward to another question at the end of the show.
Wait.
What?
Stop
Pause.
that beautiful bean footage.
All right. I hit pause.
What?
There. Yes. What is your answer, Craig?
No, what was yours? That was where I was going
I
with
had
this.
every language. I want to learn every language.
Every language?
Yeah. I want to be multilingual in a heartbeat. Be able to understand and speak and communicate with people in their native tongue. And you?
I think I would like to learn the ingredients to Coca-Cola and sing so I could make the world of Coke
and sing
in harmony. Yeah. Oh, okay, that fell flat. I was working on something there, but
if you come up with it, let me know.
Yeah. We'll see. If I could buy the world of Coke. No, how'd that song go?
Teach the world to sing.
There you go. I want to teach the world to sing. That was
harmony. Yes. You're showing your age if you remember that commercial. All right. Let's finish. Let's unpause this.
All right.
Dave! That was a good timing. Where is our history music? Let's do the history next. We don't need to roll for this one. On this day in history for June 26, 2019, it's the 177th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. There are 188 days remaining in 2019. It was on this date in 1409 that the Roman Catholic Church is led into a double schism. If you don't know what that is, that's when Petros Philagos is crowned Pope Alexander V after the Council of Pisa, joining Pope Gregory XII in Rome and Pope Benedict XII in Avignon. What a mess.
Yeah, what a mess. It was 225 years ago today. The Battle of Fleurus marked the first successful military use of aircraft.
Treaty of Nanking comes into effect. Hong Kong Island is ceded to the British, quote, in perpetuity, unquote, on this date in 1843. We all know how that turned out. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, almost perpetuity. It was also on this date in 1870 that the Christian holiday of Christmas is declared a federal holiday in the United States.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge. It was
Shut up. Give me that coal. Put it in the fire.
It was also on this date in 1886 that Henri Moissan isolated the elemental fluorine for the first time.
In June 26, 1906, the first Grand Prix motor racing event was held.
That same date in 1909, the Science Museum in London comes into existence as an independent entity. Apparently it was dependent on somebody.
at some point. Also today in 1927, the Cyclone roller coaster opens on Coney Island.
1927. That thing is 92 years old.
The name is actually The Cyclone. So The Cyclone roller coaster. There should be a comma in there, right?
Yeah,
No,
we'll go
maybe
with that. It must be the parser thing. It was also on this date in 1934, the United States President Franklin D. Roosevelt signs the Federal Credit Union Act. Where's Brian Brown when you need him? He works at credit unions.
At credit unions,
The
like more than
Federal
one.
Credit Union Act that establishes credit unions.
And his job.
Yes, if
So
it weren't
June-
for FDR in 34, Brian would have a much different job today.
Right. Sweeping floors. So June 26, 1936, initial flight of the Focke-Wulf FW-61, the first practical helicopter.
We're going to work on your German.
Focke-Wulf.
Focke-Wulf.
Hey, careful.
Focke-Wulf. Yes.
Careful.
Just what it sounds like.
Yeah, walking a fine line there.
Uh-huh. In June 26, 1942, the first flight of the Grumman F-6F Hellcat. Now we're getting some serious swearing going on.
Yeah. It was also on this date in 1945 that the United Nations Charter is signed by 50 allied nations in San Francisco, California.
That same date, June 26, 1948, William Shockley files the original patent for the Grown junction transistor, the first bipolar junction transistor. Couldn't make up its mind whether it was happy or sad.
It was also on this date in 1963 that U.S. President John F. Kennedy gave his Ich bin ein Berliner speech.
Close enough.
Berliner?
Berliner. Berliner. Now I'm making a fool of myself.
I know. Well, I'm dragging you down, buddy.
Ich bin ein Berliner.
Yeah, Ich bin ein Berliner.
Wow.
Speech underlying the support of the United States for democratic West Germany shortly after the Soviet-supported East Germany erected the Berlin Wall.
Nice going.
Mm-hmm.
Also on that date in 1974, the Universal Product Code. The first Universal Product Code is scanned to sell a package of Wrigley's chewing gum at the Marsh Supermarket in Troy, Ohio. Go listen to a recent episode of Stuff You Should Know, I believe it was. They covered it really well.
I'll check that out. Elvis Presley held his final concert in Indianapolis, Indiana at Marquette Square Arena on this date in 1977.
And now the end is near. Okay.
Yeah.
Happy birthday goes out of the state to Swedish chemist and mineralogist Georg Brandt. I'm going to go with one of those two. Born on this date in 1694.
And French astronomer and academic Charles Messier was born 289 years ago today. Well, I wasn't expecting 289.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm going to try this one he's from India, so bear with me. Gwahar Jan, one of the first performers to record music on a 78 RPM record in India. He was born on this date in 1873.
And German mathematician and logician Leopold Lowenheim was born 141 years ago today.
Leopold.
What did I say? I did say that right, Leopold?
I'm doing a Bugs Bunny.
Oh, shut up.
Willy Messerschmitt, German engineer and businessman who was born on the same date. I'll bet he had something to do with that Messerschmitt jet fighter and other planes that they use. He was born today in 1898.
And Frank Scott Hogg, the Canadian astronomer and academic, was born 115 years ago today.
Slovak-American actor and singer Peter Lorre was born on his date in 1904.
And Maurice Wilkes, English computer scientist and physicist, was born on the same date in 1913.
American computer... Our music is running out. We ran out of time again.
Oh, no.
Where were we? American computer scientist Robert Everett is 98. He's still alive, 98 today. Computer scientist. Awesome.
Wow. Russian soldier, pilot, astronaut Pavel Bavleyev.
Something like that.
Bavleyev was born 94 years ago today.
American singer, songwriter, musician Patti Smythe was born this date in 1957.
And American actor Chris O'Donnell is 49 today? Really?
Yes.
I thought he'd be older than that by now. But...
Well, here's one. Ariana Grande, 26 today.
Wow. Oh, and you know what? Turning 20 today is Harley Quinn Smith, daughter of Kevin Smith.
Was she in that Batman movie? No. Suicide Squad.
She was not. She was not, but that is her real name. He named her.
Harley Quinn Smith. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Listener birthdays this week include June 26th, Patrick Norton. And
still
June
a listener, I'm sure.
I'm sure. 26th, daughter of... If he does a Google search on his name, he can find it, and then you listen, and he'll know we still like him. Okay.
That's right.
June 26th is always daughter of Will the Computer Guy. Jordan Burkhead, daughter of Chip Burkhead from the Scotchcast, is on the 27th. Martin McKay, This is the big 40 at some point in the history of this
10
wiki.
years ago.
Yeah, we love it when we have milestones that go out of date after 1 year. He's on the 29th and June 30th. AD Dude Alexis Duran. Happy birthday to all of you. If you want to get your name on the wiki, go over to chuckchat.com/wiki. We'll give you a shout out at the appropriate time of year. If it's your birthday and you're not on the wiki, well, happy birthday to you as well. We wish you all the best. Talk to you on the next show. Maybe we'll get you on the next show. Or we'll get you next June 1st. Depends on when your birthday is. Go over there, put your name on there. We'd love to give you a shout out and appreciate all the people that are on there already. That's the way it was on this day in history for June 26, 2019. Just imagine the band finishing at this point. I should make a clip. I just put in the last couple of bars of that song so when we run over, we can just stick it in there.
Yeah, just keep playing that. Yeah.
Let's do the news. I think we need some of
Bad
this.
news, nobody.
Go ahead, take the first one. I love this story.
All right. So the USB inventor, I'll add the word finally, admits that the plugs are annoying. So in 1996, Intel released USB Universal Serial Bus, for those of you who don't know, 1.0, and we have been annoyed ever since. National Public Radio spoke with engineer Ajay Bhatt, who led the team that unleashed the perpetually frustrating non-reversible plug on the world. And from NPR, here's a quote: "The biggest annoyance is reversibility," Bhatt told NPR. Nonetheless, he stands by his design. Turns out there's a very specific reason for the USB's lack of reversibility. The USB that could plug in correctly both ways would have required double the wires and circuits,
Sure.
which would have then doubled the cost.
Not
I
necessarily.
think I got an idea of a get around that, but
Yeah.
that's just me. Anyway, the Intel-led team by Bhatt anticipated the user frustration and opted for rectangular design and a 50-50 chance the plug would go incorrectly versus the round connector with less room for error. In hindsight, based on all experiences we had, of course, it was not easy as it should be.
You know what? Julie termed this a while back. I don't know where she got it from, but I use it all the time. It's called the 50-50-90 rule. If there's a 50-50 chance you'll get it right, there's a 90% chance you'll get it wrong.
That's about right. It's kind of like that same ratio where you have the timeline when you're installing software, and that last 2% is always the longest of the 100.
Yes. If you're observant, there's the one side that has like the plastic plug on it, right? So there's half that has the connectors and half that has a space. And if you look at there's two holes on each side of the silver connector. Two look like they're blocked. That's the plastic solid side. And two look like there's space behind them. That's obviously the part where the other plastic piece goes, where you're going to plug something into a male and a female connector. If you're observant, you can glance at what you're plugging into and know whether you should be looking at holes or filled in. Okay. But you got to be paying attention.
Well,
and it seems like every device has them backwards from each other device. So sometimes I quite literally every morning I go to plug in a USB connector, and it's always the other way around from the device I just plugged in. It's like this one had the solid plug on top. This one has it on the bottom. Next one's on top. It's like it's real frustrating.
Well, I never really thought about the frustration until a few years ago when USB-C started to come around.
Yeah.
I was like, that would be nice to have something reversible like that. And then of course USB-C came around, but I never really thought of it as frustrating to a problem where.
Well, did
you ever think about it that much?
Even the micro USB, I can plug these in, like for headphones and whatnot, in the middle of the night in the dark, because if you feel one side, it's got sort of barbs on it.
Yeah.
And I know which way, because my headphones will lose charge in the middle of the night or something, and I'll unplug them, I'll feel for the barbs, and I know which way they go. But that thing is just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was about the time USB-C, like when USB-C came around and went, or lightning connector. Doesn't matter which way it goes, but you'll always get it wrong.
Yeah. Right. Well, I'll be honest with you. I love USB-C. I think it works great, but I never really considered it a problem.
It's a first world problem.
Although we've all experienced it. I just never thought of it as some incapacitating problem.
No, it's not incapacitating. Obviously, this show makes fun of a lot of things. That's
Sure.
where we're going with this. Okay,
Right.
from interestingengineering.com. Scientists have discovered the most Earth-like exoplanet. Does it also have
Sweet.
garbage piles floating around in the ocean?
Yeah. Wow, we observed smog. atmosphere.
It
That's
has
like
a
a-
hole in the ozone. It's just like us.
It was like in the Voyage Home, Star Trek, when they went back and I'm detecting certain pollutants in the air. So we
I
must be in the
believe they
latter
called it
part of the
smog.
20th century.
Yes.
So that's how we detected that.
The colloquial term is smog. The
Yes.
Carmina Survey Team, a huge group of international astronomers, is searching for exoplanets near distant stars' habitable zones. They may have just discovered the most Earth-like planet. Thank you, Popover ad. Earth-like planet out there. Exoplanet discoveries happen all the time. There are estimated to be hundreds of billions of planets throughout the universe. However, this particular planet has drawn attention for just how much it may resemble Earth. The newfound exoplanet was found orbiting Teagardens star, relatively close 12 light years, and relatively quiet ultra-cool star. It's the 24th closest star to the sun. Finding such potentially inhabitable planets provides hints as to where we might find extraterrestrial life. However, while it is an exciting finding, it doesn't necessarily mean that people could survive there. The researchers actually found 2 planets orbiting around Teagardens star. They are named Teagarden B and Teagarden C. Lovely
Wow,
names.
that was
At least it's a Teagarden and not an NGC 152, that kind of thing. Maybe that's the stars. Teagarden B is one that most resembles Earth. According to the published paper, the planet has the highest Earth similarity index of any planet yet discovered. The planet scored a 0.94, with a 1.0 indicating a perfect Earth replica. They also had, it probably has to do with size and atmosphere and all that kind of stuff, gravity.
yeah.
They do also highlight the fact that the index, quote, does not take into account the stellar spectral energy distribution, that's a mouthful, and a resulting planetary atmospheric composition, which is very likely to have an effect on habitability. Oh, so it doesn't count the atmosphere, which could be a bit of a problem.
And I was thinking temperature. Did it mention temperature?
Well, they
I
said the
can't remember.
habitable zone, where you'll
Yeah.
find liquid water. The 2 planets were spotted from Spain's Calar Alto Observatory. Teagarden star itself is actually 1/10 the size of the sun, though the planets do orbit close enough. They are in the habitable zone and have the potential to sustain a temperature environment similar to the Earth, researchers claim. So
there's like there can be a ratio sort of kind of guidance, but for the Goldilocks zone, you can be closer for a smaller star.
yes.
Farther away, maybe a little
And
bit.
if you're closer,
larger
your orbit is
field.
going to be shorter, so your year will be shorter, which means you got to pay taxes more often on that planet.
Yeah, dang it.
I'm not moving there.
Sucks. Well, right now, I don't think they have any income tax, so we're in good shape.
Oh, somebody's going to find a way to make money off of that.
Hell yeah. You know it.
All right. Next up, you're the photography man. This is yours.
Yes. So a new camera can photograph you from 45 kilometers away, but you still can't take pictures of children with it.
45
Nothing.
kilometers away, and somebody still leans their head back to take a little more wide angle.
I'd still get somebody photobombing it. So long distance photography on Earth is a tricky challenge. Capturing enough light from a subject at great distances is not easy. And even then, the atmosphere introduces distortions which can ruin the image. So does pollution.
What about the
which we
curvature of
referred
the
to in
Earth?
Yeah, well, I'm getting there. So the pollution, which we alluded to earlier, which is particularly a problem in a lot of cities, this makes it hard for it to get any kind of image beyond a distance of a few kilometers or so. And again, the curvature and light, I guess,
Mhm.
reflecting, all that kind of stuff. But in recent years, researchers have begun to exploit sensitive photo detectors to do much more. These detectors are so sensitive that they can pick up single photons and use them to piece together images of subjects up to 10 kilometers away, which is about 6 miles. Nonetheless, physicists would love to improve even more. I'm sure they would, because they get grants and they got money to do so. And today, Zhen Ping Li and colleagues from the Universities of Science and Technology in China in Shanghai show how to photograph subjects up to 45 kilometers, which is 28 miles away, in a smog-plagued urban environment.
Interesting.
Their technique uses single photon detectors combined with a unique computational imaging algorithm that achieves super high resolution images by knitting together the sparsest of data points. So this says the new technique is relatively straightforward in principle. It is based on a laser ranging and detection, or LiDAR.
That's what you get when you cross a lion and a tiger.
Yes, right. They're awesome. Oh. Eliminate. I was trying to do Napoleon Dynamite there. But,
I know where you were trying to go with that.
Yeah, that was a little Keanu Reeves there. Whoa. Anyway, illuminating the subject with laser light and then creating an image from its reflection. And you can see some examples at the top. The first one, I imagine, is the final project, final picture, kind of pieced together.
That's the control picture when we took it from half a mile away. Let's see how close we can get to this. The other 5, they don't count.
Yeah, that's right. No, I think that I think the rest of them are the pieces of the puzzle that got to that image.
Yes.
But if you look at it, you could clearly, I mean, you can make out some stuff. I know it looks
it's
a little...
interesting because the top middle one, it looks like there's nothing there at first, but then you start staring at it, your eyes just...
Yeah.
You can
like
pick out the difference. It's almost like one of those colorblind tests. Mm-hmm. Actually, all of them look like a colorblind test.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is pretty cool. Oh, and down below, there's a diagram showing how far away they were, and there's the target and the setup. But there's the ground truth, and then it starts showing you the visible image, the pixel-wise, which is what we were just talking about a moment ago. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's 28 miles. That's a long way away. Why don't you just send a drone?
Speaking of the curvature of the Earth, when we were in Michigan a few weeks ago, I looked out over Lake Superior, and there's a visual phenomenon called an inferior mirage. You're familiar with the superior? Excuse me, it's called the superior mirage. Never mind. The inferior mirage, I think everybody's seen. You're driving down the road, and the heat waves make it look like a reflection of the car in front of you, or whatever is there. You see a
little bit of water in the road.
You see an image underneath, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like a mirror on the road, and whatever you see up above is reflected down below. And as you get closer, it dissipates. Well, this is the reverse. This is when the temperature is inverted because it's a cold lake, and the air up above tends to bend the lake. So we're looking at a landmass that had sort of a curved top. And all of a sudden we looked out there and it looked like it had a flat top and bluffs.
What?
Because, yes, this is really interesting. Go look up on Wikipedia, Fata, F-A-T-A, Morgana. This is not a rock star or anything.
I think Godzilla fought that person.
A specific type of mirage, and really cool because if you get it at the right angle, it will actually be able to track the curvature of the Earth. So
it looks like in this one picture, there's a boat out there, but it looks like it's just a floating
block.
Yeah, it's because it looks like there's an empty space. I have seen something like that before.
You got to have cold water, warm air above it, and the light will be bent through the warm air, which is exactly what happens on the hot road. The light is being bent through the heat on the road. Well, flip that over so you've got cold water on the bottom, warm air on the top. And there's a story as I was reading through this, there were explorers going through looking for the Northwest Passage, whatever it was. They got lost, they got trapped, they were stuck in the land of the no winter sun. And they observed the sun coming up 2 weeks earlier than it should have been because the light was being bent through the atmosphere and over the curvature of the Earth because of the Fata Morgana. And really interesting stuff. Because I've seen this a number of times when I was a kid going, oh, cool, look at the light distorting out there. Look, makes this island or this boat look kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I said, I'm going to finally learn what this is all about. So at the ripe old age of 54, I got on Wikipedia and I figured it out. I was very happy about that. So
thank God they finally were able to help you out. And maybe you can send them some money.
If you want to sound intelligent at cocktail parties, which is my goal in life.
Yeah.
Fata Morgana.
Fata Morgana is not one of the monsters that Godzilla fought.
No. On that note, let's take a real quick break.
Well, I have seen that effect, though. I have seen that kind of effect, but I didn't realize that's what it was called.
If you go look up mirages on Wikipedia, you'll see there's a couple different types, and this is a specific type of flipped mirage from what we're used to. Alrighty, we're going to take a quick break. We will be right back with some more cool stuff. So the learning part is over.
Stop. This is the server room of eternal terror. Answer me these questions 3. Any internet you see. What is your name?
I am Jim, a computer tech from Camelot Business Services.
What is your quest?
We are on a quest to download the Holy Podcast.
What is your favorite MMO?
World of Warcraft.
Alright, you may pass. Oh, that's easy. What is your name?
I'm Lenny, a computer tech from Camelot Business Services.
What is your quest?
Download the Holy Podcast.
What is the street address of Apple Incorporated headquarters?
I don't know that.
Stop! What is your name?
I am Arthur, king of the system admins.
What is your quest?
I seek the Holy Podcast.
What is the internet throughput of a Trojan-free email?
What do you mean? A spam email or a legitimate email?
Oh, I don't know that.
How'd you know that? One has to know these things when one's on the Holy Podcast.
This is Clinton from Comedy Forecast, and you're listening to Technorama. Shame on you.
You know, after all these years, I don't know why Karen Clinton's shaming my listeners. Makes me laugh.
I don't know why we keep playing that.
Shame on you.
We want to remind you that we do the show live most Sundays. This happens to be one of them at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook. So you're welcome to join us there. Just go follow the Technorama podcast page and you'll get the alert when we're there. Or if you're one of our friends, we'll share it out and you'll get a notice whether you like it or not.
Yeah, for free.
And now you know what Technorama is all about. Some learning, some fun. We're just geeking out for about 50 minutes or so and hope you enjoyed hanging out with us.
Plus or minus.
Plus or minus. What is that? Plus or minus our listener?
No, how much time we spend.
Right. Could be 48. Could be an hour and 8. Meh.
Yeah.
So
It's podcasting. There's no hard rules here.
that's right. That's why we like it so much. So let's get into Remember When. I believe it's my turn, yes? No. Yes? Yes, because you did the new
You're not
camera.
gonna give a shout out to the chat room?
We'll get there in a second.
Okay.
We got the music going, so we're going to keep
show
going.
notes while we're doing this.
The forgotten operating system that keeps the New York subway system alive. Oh my, vintage technology that's still out there in the world. Remember when we were at the Star Trek experience in 2008 and they still had like Windows 3.1 running the simulator rides?
Yes.
That was a bit frightening, wasn't it?
It was, considering considering they put it together and went in 90, I guess it was 97, 98
Something like
when
that.
they constructed it.
Yeah. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this article certainly underscores that. A version of this post really appeared in TDM, a twice weekly newsletter that hunts for the end of the long tail. A New Yorker and a tourist walk into a subway station. Sounds like a setup for a joke.
Yeah. And a priest and a... I'm sorry.
At 42nd Street, also known as Times Square. One is delighted to be there, the other extremely annoyed. One knows how to get out of there as quickly as possible. The other doesn't. The New Yorker and the tourist are distinct but at the moment, they are the same. Ooh, blow your mind. But both are about to swipe their Metro cards subject to the whims of the Metropolitan Transit Authority and the unheard of reliability of a marginally successful operating system from the early 1990s. I was thinking about all the possibilities of this, and I honestly admit I did not come up with this one. Okay?
Really? Actually,
Yes.
I kind of figured it out before even looking at it.
I had to get to the reveal. Okay, and that operating system remains in use on the subway system that feels the daily strains from heavy use. According to one metric, 5.7 million people rode the New York City subway on an average weekday in 2016. This was the highest average total for the system since 1948. If you ask an anecdotal average New Yorker, their response usually, that's it? Their disbelief is understandable since the city has some 8 million permanent residents and often swells as much as 20 million during peak hours and holidays. Yeah, that's a lot of people. But either way, the 5.7 million is a lot. And one of the elements managing it is an operating system that fell into obscurity a quarter century ago. IBM's, wait for it, I need a drum roll for this. I still don't have a drum roll.
Yeah.
IBM's OS2. That's it. In a Tedium article from the past March, Ernie Smith wrote about IBM's big bet on a microkernel for operating systems, effectively a minimum layer of software through which an operating system's basic tasks are handled. A bet that included a variant of its well-known, if less remembered, OS2. His article demonstrates how big the bet was. However, IBM's confidence in its operating system prowess led others to take similar chances. No bigger bet was made than the one by the MTA, the Metropolitan Transit Authority, who needed some processes to eliminate tokens while moving into an era where everything was expected to be digitized. The result was the iconic MetroCard, a thin slice of yellow plastic with a permanent black strip. That MetroCard has been a staple of New Yorkers' wallets since its introduction in 1993. The story of how the current method for accessing New York subway is interesting for its insights into public infrastructure and a way that it serves the public. Before we can touch that topic, this article is quite long, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it is interesting that OS2 is still out there running the MTA. And again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But at some point, you would think they're going to have to upgrade. They're going to have to get onto another system. Somebody out there has to be thinking, what will it take to get this into a more modern infrastructure?
Well, my thought was, okay, they got, what did I say, 5.7 million
Yes.
people going through there. Okay, just thinking, you scanning, record goes in the system, it's logged. At some point, somebody's got to be working on this to be able to cull old data or whatever. You can't just, it would get overrun over a while.
I'd be curious to know what the bigger picture of that looks like. Are these just the front end systems that are capturing transactions and then relaying them to a bigger server behind the scenes? Or is there one PC in a dude's office under his desk that's doing all of this? What is this? What is this farm? What does this rack look like that's gathering all this information? What are they doing with it?
I don't know, but I like the story that the old OS still is hammer. Well, I say an old OS, but Linux is almost 30 years old now itself.
Craig, I just found out that the ticketing system I started writing in 1994 at my old job is still running.
I thought you said you moved everybody to ServiceNow before you left.
IT did, but there were two other departments that were using that software.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, one of them could easily be taken over by a catalog item on ServiceNow.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I just about fell off my chair when I heard that yesterday. I went, what? So when there's a chance that I'm going to go to Wisconsin and meet up with some of my old coworkers, and I really want to know what it's being used for and why. Mm-hmm. I have never written an application that lasted 25 years.
Well, you know what? Hey, I'll tell you, I don't know about 25 years, but I do know that I guess it's been about almost 20 years now. at the law firm I worked at, I wrote a pretty big app, and everybody was using it for quite a while, and I think they were still using it pretty recently. So I bet that thing was running
Punch
for
cards, my friend.
15 years. I bet it was running for. I bet that they were using that app for 15 years.
I thought I
would
killed it
not
at
doubt
14 years, but no, it's still out there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, by the way, I said they were talking about IBM's big bet on the microkernel, for operating systems.
That was a good idea. I mean, it was a good architecture. It just never.
Yeah. Well, Linux is a monolithic.
Yeah.
And I remember reading, I think it was in Linus Torvalds' book, that he actually sat in on a meeting with Steve Jobs when they were talking about making OS X, which was ultimately, I guess, based off BSD.
Yeah.
But they were having an argument about the different types of kernel, and Linus Torvalds walked away because he believed that the monolithic was better than the kernel they were using in OS X. I believe that's the story. I remember reading that. It was in the book. Was that? It was. I had to look it up. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting story.
Again, I just finished. Hang on, let me look at Pocket Cast because I just finished listening to. Was it tech stuff? OID, social networks. No, it was. Was it stuff you should know? Darn it. I can't remember now. Ridiculous History? It wasn't Ridiculous History.
We need to compare.
I was listening to a podcast about Unix and Linux and that whole story, and I can't find it. That's because this is listing all the old ones. It's not a recent. It is a recent one. So go. It's on somewhere on the iHeart network.
We need to compare listening lists because
Yeah.
I feel like I've got a few gems, but I think I need to refresh some of my shows.
I've been sucked into the iHeartRadio network that Jonathan Strickland got me into, and they just keep racking up. But anyway,
yeah. Hey, wait, before we move on, I guess maybe I should. You know what? I'll talk about this in the Geek Library.
Okay. You said I need to give a shout out to the chat room, so let's do some scrolling through Facebook. Tim Elliott, John Clifford, you, me, Bud Collar, former coworker from years ago, Michael King, Tony DuPont, another former coworker, Scott Tyler, common friend. In fact, he was just over here this afternoon. We had some pizza and beer and played cards.
See, your list is totally different from mine.
I know.
Well, not totally different.
Thanks, Facebook. What do you got?
Scott Tyler. Yeah, I guess I see most of John Miller, Scott Tyler, Michael King. Yeah, okay. Sorry. It's just sometimes the chat doesn't seem quite right in this Facebook thing. Oh well.
Why don't you send our old buddy Zuckerberg an email? See how he takes it.
I think he's got a lot on his plate right now, and he's not going to mess with the chat. More like keeping his job. I don't know.
All right. We also want to thank our patrons. Where's our Patreon music?
Dum, 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 dum.
There it is. Thank you to our Patreons. You guys are awesome, guys and ladies. Thank you for your support for as little as $1 a show. That's like not even a cup of coffee. And we do this once a week, maybe. We sound so reliable. We're not bolstering our integrity here.
Yeah, we ain't retired from this, by the way.
You get extra content that is only available to our Patreon people, and you get your name enshrined on the show. Thank you to Kyle Nishioka, Avner Braverman, Ben Vaughn, Mike Wills, who has the illustrious notation of the only person to donate $1.01 to be 101. Right.
Yeah, you can do custom amounts. Just throwing that out there.
I love that because every time we go, like it says, your current Patreon thing, it's always that 1 cent hanging on there. Like, yeah. Thanks, dude. It's never an even number. I don't mind. I love it. I crack up every time. Crazy Joe Fiore, a.k.a. Megapodtastic. Night Gig Studios, a.k.a. JT Shea. Well, that rhymes. Yeah. Gary Lindros, John Clifford, thank you very much. Thank you, Leon. Did we not see him at last Dragon Con?
No, I think we
missed him last year. We're going to have to make a special point.
All right, you know what? Whenever we see him, we have to take a picture of him so we can document it.
Yes, and put a star on Google Maps.
Yeah.
John Noble.
Whoa. That John Noble?
Our John Noble. Yes.
Okay.
Chris MC. Alexis Duran, Saturday Morning Media, which is also known as Grant Pachoco. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Steve Therian, Jorga Schrauen, John Miller Jr., as always. Amber Elstad. I feel like we're into the second generation here. Amber Elstad. Harold McKinstry, thank you. Thank you, Amy Bowen. Thank you, Denise Inglis. Thank you, Stephen Weshy and Dean Jensen, who's like an alumni, and Dandy Man Coyer, who's also a longtime listener. Thank you very much to all of you people. You keep this show going. If you want to be part of this, it's as easy as going to patreon.com/Technorama podcast and sign up. It's a great thing. We appreciate it very much because the software's not getting any cheaper for these machines. It's crazy. And I register the domain and do the hosting in 5-year blocks. Guess what? Next year is that block.
Oh,
yeah.
of course.
It's coming. It's like, I have faith we will be here for another 5 years, so I'm going to do it again. Thank you very much. Did we almost use the entire song that time? Hey, we need a few more people. I want to get to the point where we can't list all the people in this song. Wow.
Well, there is an empty block, so if we go another block, we got to go another road.
He really gets ripping on this thing, doesn't he?
5 more people.
This is an awesome song.
Yeah.
19 seconds left. We're just going to play it out.
Hey. You know what? I'm going to use that instead of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra and put Christmas lights on the front of my house.
That does sound like TSO now that you mention it. That's kind of cool. You're going to do the Christmas light thing on your house with that.
Yeah, I'm going to have Vader's face. You know, somehow.
And it morphs into a stormtrooper.
No, I have him inflate on during the light show. He'll inflate at the top.
I'm sorry. Putting a controller on an inflatable thing, all that makes me think of is the autopilot on airplane.
You know what? I think it's time to rewatch that movie because I haven't seen it in a long time.
We just played clips on the Topicus track. Joey, have you ever been in a Turkish prison?
Yeah, don't start. Just go.
And then we mentioned that on our team call, and Stacy. Sorry. We need to move on.
Yeah. That's going on.
There's a story there. Where's the media corner? I gotta find it in here. Media corner. There it is. We have a media corner. We haven't had one of these in a while.
I know.
Welcome to Blockhead Video. Hey, where can I find some good information about music and TV and videos and things? Over here, in the media corner.
Take it away, Craig.
The media corner. Oh yeah. So, coming up on August 30th, Netflix is having a prequel series for The Dark Crystal. I'm sorry. Is it a prequel? Yeah, that's right. I think it's a prequel series for The Dark Crystal, which looks amazing from what little trailer I've seen.
Okay.
But there's even a prequel comic. So Dark Crystal's getting
Dark
a
Crystal
comic
babies.
book. That is huh? Yeah. Maybe it's like Dark Crystal babies. So how far back do you want to go? Boom Studios is hoping pretty damn far, as the publisher has announced a comic book series that'll serve as an official prequel to Netflix's own prequel series, The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance.
Resistance is futile. Resistance is...
Age of Resistance is futile. So in a press release, Boom Studios announced that a 12-issue series called Jim Henson's The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance is coming out this September. It's written by Nicole Andelfinger, with art by Matthias Balsa, and will explore the world of Thora before the events of the famed rebellion that we'll be seeing in the Netflix's show. And so there's a synopsis and everything. You can go see some art on from the comic, which there's only a couple images, but you can get an idea. And you can also go and find the trailer in the article for the show, which I think it looks amazing, and I'm curious to see how it turns out.
I have to admit, I never saw the original, so now I got to do some catching up.
Really? You never saw the original?
Nope.
Maybe it's a good time to go check it out.
Yeah, I don't know how that snuck under my radar, but it was... I don't know. I was into something different at the time.
Well, sure. I mean, I remember watching it
When did that
the
come
one
out?
time
In
and
the 80s,
thinking
I
it was
thought.
okay. Yeah, it came out in the 80s, and I thought it was okay, but when I watched it a second time, I liked it better. It is slow and
82.
yeah, it's not it's a little
It's only an hour and 33 minutes.
yeah. No. I mean, the story sometimes can be a little slow, but I don't know. I think it's pretty good. I liked it, and I'm looking forward to the series.
All right. I'll take a look at that. Geek Library? Are we there already? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Oh, we hadn't had one of these in a while either.
Really? I thought we just had one like a couple shows ago.
No.
A couple shows ago was April.
Yeah. in April.
Oh, and the music is appropriate, too. Can we play this one, too?
Yeah.
From Inverse.com, extraterrestrial life, that familiar science fiction trope, that kitschy fantasy, that CGI nightmare has become a matter of serious discussion, a risk factor, a scenario. How has E.T. gone from sci-fi fairy tale to serious scientific endeavor, modeled by macroeconomics, funded by fiscal conservatives, and discussed by theologians? Because following a string of remarkable discoveries over the past 2 decades, the idea of alien life is not as far-fetched as it used to seem. Discovery now seems inevitable and possibly imminent. It's just chemistry. While life is a special kind of complex chemistry, the elements involved are nothing special. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and so on are among the most abundant elements in the universe. Complex organic chemistry is surprisingly common. Amino acids, just like those that make up every protein in our bodies, have been found in the tails of comets. There are other organic compounds in Martian soil. Spoiler alert. And 6,500 light years away, a giant cloud of space alcohol floats among the stars. Jack Daniels wants to lay claims. Habitable planets seem to be common too. The first planet beyond our solar system was discovered in 1995. Since then, astronomers have cataloged thousands. Based on this catalog, astronomers from the University of California, Berkeley worked out there could be as many as 40 billion Earth-sized exoplanets in the so-called habitable zone around the star, of which we talked about earlier. So you can figure that out. Where temperatures, of course, are mild enough for liquid water to exist on the surface. There's even potentially Earth-like world orbiting our nearest neighboring star, Proxima Centauri, at just 4 light years away. Of course, you take a while to get there. That system might be close enough for us to reach using current technology. With the breakthrough Starshot project launched by Stephen Hawking in 2016, plans for this are already afoot. So it goes on to say that life survives in all manner of environments that seem hellish to us, floating on a lake of sulfuric acid, inside barrels of nuclear waste, in water superheated to 122 degrees, the wastelands of Antarctica, and many other popular vacation spots that you might not want to go. So, good article about where this might come from, and perhaps even life might be infectious.
Infectious. That's an interesting way to look at it.
Well, bacteria.
Well, remember in the Matrix, Agent Smith was talking about calling humans a virus because of the way they
populate.
Kind of infect the place. So it kind of makes sense, I guess.
Well, and there's the idea that, life got started perhaps on Mars before it got started on Earth, and, comet impacts or whatever, bacteria hitched a ride on the comet fragments that fell to Earth. So you never know. Never know.
Yep.
Although it would take a long time to get to another star system.
That's why we should send something.
As we close out, you have a new show you want to share.
Now, this is Adam Savage's book.
Book.
Every
That's
Tool is a
right.
Hammer.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, I ended up with a year subscription to Audible. So this was in December. So I started picking up books, and I saw that Adam Savage's book was out, Every Tool is a Hammer. I think it's probably been about a month or so. And so I was like, well, what the heck? I grabbed it. And actually, it's pretty good. A lot of it you probably already heard from stories and anecdotes from Adam Savage, in various places. But there's a lot of interesting stuff. which probably to you, Chuck, will be especially interesting, is when he starts talking about making lists and checklists for doing stuff
and checking them twice, finding out who's been naughty or nice.
Yeah. Well, I always thought that. Well, anyway, I always thought he was an interesting guy, but you listen to it and he starts talking about some stories of what made him understand this better, or what helped him in this direction. A lot of that kind of stuff, which is really cool. But like I said, I think chapter 5, he started talking about lists and how that's really helped him immensely when he first started figuring out how to make lists, and lists weren't the end all of productivity, but the beginning, because you start building out stuff and go, oh, this is all the stuff I want to get done. But then it's funny, he said, then he ran into a guy that was not only keeping lists, but would make little boxes beside his list. So he got check boxes and he could color them in. And he knew that if it was half colored, there was some work had been done on that item, but some things haven't.
Oh my!
So then he said that helped him immensely, and so really like I was imagining like a 3-stage or a 3-value checkbox, where it's either half or full, when you kind of check. Anyway,
that reminds me of the old inventory system we used to have at our dive shop.
Mm-hmm.
It was very simple. It was a 3-stage checkbox. Effectively, we would have a line item for each product. So if you say you bought a DM22 dive mask, okay, if we ordered it, we would put down dots. And let's say we ordered a half dozen of them, we'd have 6 dots. And then when they were received, we would circle the dots to know that they were in inventory. And when we sold them, we put a slash through them. Mm-hmm. And by determining where we were back then it was like 1974, we could say this is where 74 started and this is where 74 ended. We could tell how many we sold in 1974. I mean, for a paper-based system, that was pretty simple yet very effective. Yeah. So you don't need to overthink your systems, your productivity, your getting things done systems too hard to get that. On the other hand, I don't know why I still do this, but it's just sort of a fun thing. When I do a checkbox, I put a drop shadow on it every time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They stand out in the notebook. I mean, you can glance at the notebook and just scan for where are those checkboxes, because if they're just single squares, I might miss them because they don't always turn out like squares.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're like more like.
Well, I've seen people, draw circles and then maybe an exit out, or there's different ways you can check them or whatever.
Yeah.
Similar to what you're talking about. So,
and if I write something in a notebook and then carry it over to an electronic means, I take it and put a slash through it, but it's more of an arrow, kind of like this has been forwarded. So I won't check it off. I will put an arrow going, okay, you don't need to pay attention to this one anymore in this notebook because it's captured somewhere else. It's been moved.
You put an arrow in there.
Why?
Oh, how?
How?
In electronic?
No, on the paper. On the paper.
Oh, on paper. Oh, okay.
So here, I'll show you on camera what it looks like.
Oh.
With a big black marker. So I'll have my... This is riveting stuff for our video. Okay. Here's a to-do.
Yeah.
Here is a forwarded to-do.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay.
That's just... Make yourself a quick, simple little notation. It works really well.
Anyway, getting back to the book. We'll
somehow we lost track of that, didn't we?
If you like Adam Savage, you're a fan of Adam Savage, I think you would probably enjoy the book, because like I said, a lot of things some of the things you've heard him talk about, but then he expands on it and he gives some other back end stuff on other situations. You go, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And especially like the lists, drawing as a form of communication, trying to convey an idea between two people when sometimes language may not be perfect.
That's our topic. That's our topic for our Patreon show.
Okay. But anyway, all that stuff. I'm almost done with the book, and I would recommend it if you've been a fan of Mythbusters or Adam Savage at all. So.
All right. Thank you. And our question of the week, we're going to leave you with this thought. What is something that still blows your mind, even though most people don't find it to be a real big deal? But when you stop and you think about it, it's like, wow, this is amazing. Okay, money is pretty amazing. It really is when you consider the
It
material.
opens doors.
The material stuff is actually quite worthless. The metals, the paper, the cloth, whatever, the plastic. It's a vague concept. And anyway, we'll leave you with that one. That's our question of the week. I'll post that next weekend on social media, and we'll get back to you with the answers. But if you've got one on when you're listening to this, you go, oh, I've got my answer. Give us a call in the listener line, 707-530-2428. Let us know what your mind-blowing thing is when you stop and think about it. And if you want to, you can also drop us an email, technorama@chuckchat.com. We'd love to hear from you. So with that, I think we're done. Just bing, there's the 1 hour mark.
Hey.
Will take us out.
This is on the plus side. This is on the plus side of that timer we talked about.
Slightly on the plus. Little over 50 minutes. But we appreciate you sticking around. We really, really thank you for listening, watching, wherever that is, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook or downloading from your favorite podcatching client. Let us know if you have any thoughts. Again, 707-530-2428. The number's right there on the screen if you're watching, or the email that you also see there, technorama@chuckchat.com. You can find us on our website at chuckchat.com. Click the Technorama link. It's there for a reason. Until next time, hey, have you told a friend about Technorama recently?
I did.
Awesome. Did they look at you funny? Good. That's what
Yes.
we want. We want the eyebrow to go, do the Spock thing. Until next time, give us a binary high five, Craig.
All right, 101.
Done. Thank you, everyone on Facebook, for watching. This has been a lot of fun and interacting. And John Miller Jr. saying we're going to get sued by Disney if we try using that. If you use that on your house at Christmas.
Oh yeah, yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's a cover. If the artist,
a cover of a cover.
If the artist didn't get sued, we should be safe, right? Should be being the key word.
That's right. Should be.
Okay, we're going to
John Miller Jr. says today's episode was brought to you by the letter T and the number 5, and also a donut. Thanks, John.
He's starting to sound like Clinton.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by sidewalk cracks.
Yeah.
Don't
Thanks.
step on one or you'll break your mother's back.
Yeah.
We're going to sign off and record our Patreon show, which we'll release before this one goes out. So thanks for joining us for episode 567. We look forward to seeing you on 568. Bye.
Bye. See you later.
And thanks, Donna.
Yes. Thank you, Donna.